Year 5 and welcome to one of your next activities that you are going to have a go at doing today for World Book Day. Now this is quite a nice one, especially for those artists of you in Year 5. You know who you are. Dylan, I'm looking at you, Mariam, Heiting, Diva, you know who you are. Now I know you all like to have a go at doing your doodling and your colouring anyway. So hopefully this will be a nice activity for you. So your task for today is you're going to use the character and setting descriptions from our books, okay, based on our main characters. And you're going to redesign the front cover of our book, Dragon Rider. Because I think we could up-level this. We've only got 2 of our main characters, and it's not a huge amount of detail. I think we can improve on this, okay? So we're going to have a quick recap of the characters and talk about their personalities and descriptions to give you an idea of what you might want your book cover to look like, okay? So let's have a look at Sorrel first of all, because she's one of our main characters. So for her physical appearance or the way that she looks, we know that she's got 2 arms. Okay, she stands up on legs and she has 2 arms. We know that she's a forest brownie. Okay, and she's got brown spots with pointed ears, and she's also got sulfur yellow fur. Okay, so she's got sort of how do you describe sulfur? Sulfur's almost like a deep yellow. It's not that bright sunshine yellow. It's like a deep orangey yellow kind of colour. And that's the colour of her fur. We know that she's a bit cat-like, so she's got the slightly long snout, she's got the whiskers, she's got the claws as well, she's got the ears that go with it. And there are various descriptions throughout the books we've looked at that describe her in these different ways, okay? Now, personality-wise, this might help a little bit more think about your description, because although it talks about her character, there are certain things about her character that you could draw as like maybe something she's got in her hand or something she's got as a backpack. So we know that she's extremely fond of mushrooms. So there's nothing to say that you don't draw a picture of her riding on Firedrake's back with a backpack that's got mushrooms falling out of it, because we know that's part of her character trait. She absolutely loves mushrooms, okay? And when she's mad, she calls people poisonous mushroom names, doesn't she? Okay. Now, we know she's got a big appetite. We know she can be difficult. She's extremely stubborn. She's bad-tempered. She's grumpy. So when you're thinking about the way you draw her face, she might not be particularly happy. She might have a furrowed brow. So she might have like a slightly wrinkly forehead. She's obviously not going to be smiling, potentially, in this picture. And we know that she curses in Mushroom as well. So when she gets angry or crossed by something, she curses using different names of mushrooms. Now, her least favourite species is humans. So we know that she's a bit standoffish when it comes to Ben. She's very quick-minded. She's very suspicious, and obviously more suspicious than dragons, okay? And we know that she's not particularly fond of Twigleg and is superstitious when it comes down to his advice. So there's elements in there about how she is as a person and her fondness for mushrooms that are 2 other elements that you might be able to add into the drawing, okay, if you're going to draw a picture of Sorrel in this picture. Now, I've not wanted to give away too much information about Firedrake, okay? So I've almost done like a little top trumps card here about him. So we know that he's formerly from the Valley, and we obviously know that he's aiming to go to the Rim of Heaven. We know he's male, so we know he's a boy. We know his eye colour is golden yellow, okay? And we know that his skin colour, so his scales, are silver. So if you actually have a look at the front cover of our book, okay? If I actually have a look, you can't see any clear definition on here of the scales, can you? It's just a silver picture. I realise I've covered up my beautiful face. So you can see there's no real definition there of the scales on the front cover of our book. But obviously we've gone for more of a grey colour here, but we could potentially make that a little bit lighter, okay, for that silver colour. So we know he's a silver dragon, so we know he's got silver scales. So we could have that definition of what scales actually look like if you look closely. We know that he's got flames. We know that when he blows his dragon fire, it blows like that electric blue. We know he's got very sharp claws. We know he's got very sharp teeth as well. Okay. Now, when I say redesign the cover when we're looking at this, I don't necessarily mean we're just going to add detail to our characters. We don't even have to have the front cover looking like this. There could be a mountain backdrop. It could be the storm backdrop they're in. We could have Sorrel and Ben on the back of him. And obviously, Firedrake usually has like almost a saddle and some straps that they strap themselves into. So we're talking about adding additional detail to what we've originally got in this cover. So it doesn't have to look anything like this. So the other character that we're going to look at obviously is Ben. Now, I realise I'm looking at this here. I've written Sorrel on here. So our next character that we've got is obviously going to be Ben. Okay, there are 3 main characters that we look at that go on this adventure, okay, throughout our story. Now, there's not very much known about Ben's physical appearance. Obviously, we know he's an orphan, okay, and we know that he's very pale and he's got brown hair. But other than that, we don't really have much of a description about necessarily his height, his weight, We know he's not very old. We know he's still quite young. But we don't have any descriptions of the type of clothes or anything he wears, other than one of the descriptions from the beginning of the book. Obviously, when he meets Sorrel and they go and hide in the they go to the building, don't they, where Firedrake is hiding, and then they try to escape. So one of the ones on here, I'm trying to see if I can actually find the page now. Here it is. The Big City and Small Humans. Obviously, we've got that she wears, Sorrel wears the human clothes, doesn't he? That she's got from Ben, and it's like a big baggy shirt that she's got on to try and cover up the fact that she doesn't, that she doesn't look like a human being, effectively. So that's one of the things that we could include in there. But really, we don't have much of a description about what he looks like or what he wears. So that's entirely up to you as to how you choose to draw him in the way he's dressed. Now, personality-wise, this might give us a little bit more of an idea. We know he's a nice boy, okay, and he always seems to see the brighter side of things. He's always very optimistic, but he puts himself down, okay, and even though he does put himself down, he's quite smart. Okay, we need to think about specifically the scene that we've just looked at, because now they're about to embark on that big journey before, going off to find the Rim of Heaven. And obviously he's got the backpack with all the belongings that Barnabas Greenbloom has given him. So there's potential there that he's also got his backpack, because we know that they strap bags together, because Twigleg obviously hides away in one of them. So we could potentially even get a little snout or something poking out of one of the rucksacks, obviously knowing that Twigleg potentially is on the back of them, because he's gonna do this journey with them. So obviously he's very smart. He's the one that steers Firedrake in the right direction. Now, he can be quite shy around people, especially people who pay him compliments and nice to him. But we know also that he rubs Sora up the wrong way, and that's purely because she's just not a particularly big fan of human beings. So you've got the ideas there, okay, of the three different main characters. Now, as for the backdrop, okay, if we look closely here, we can see, we've got the mountains. Now, we know they're snow-capped mountains. We know we've got 9 of them, so if we count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, they've got 12 then. It almost goes in sort of that circle direction. But if we know that we're going towards the Himalayas, you could do some research on what the Himalayan mountains might look like. You can draw yourself a different backdrop. I might include Sorrel on the back of this dragon, okay? We might want to change the colour of his eyes. He might want to have sharper claws. We might want to add to the silver of the scales. Might be if you've got some glitter at home, or you've got some of those like metallic pens that we've used at school before. We can really brighten up this background. Now, we don't have to have the moon in the background, but we know that the moon is an important element of our story, because we know that's the only way that the dragon can fly at night. But equally, it doesn't have to be the whole backdrop. It could be that you have the mountain range that's in the back, and obviously the moon's poking out from the side. You could have the Dragon Rider title written somewhere else with the author's name. But one way or another, I want you to have a go at redesigning our front cover yourself. Okay, so think about your character descriptions. Okay, get as creative as you possibly can. And I want to see how many different variations of our characters that we can get. Because obviously we don't know what Ben looks like. Ben could look like this wearing a red shirt. He could be wearing a green shirt. He could be wearing a hoodie. He could be wearing a raincoat. He could be wearing a bin bag for all we know. Okay? But more importantly, we don't have a visual idea of what Sorrel looks like. So this is where you've got to use that information. The idea of her being cat-like, and obviously a cat that stood up, wearing clothes, potentially with a backpack and mushrooms and a facial expression. This is an opportunity for you to showcase how to put that information into a picture, okay? Which sometimes is one of our reading skills that we've not looked at yet, where you're given the picture and you have to kind of infer information about the character based on the picture. Obviously, we're doing it the other way around. So I want you to have a go at redesigning that front cover. That should be a nice, easy thing for you to be able to do and just relax, okay? Design it, give it a pop of colour. Make sure that you include our title and our author in it, because that's important information that we need on the front of our books. But I'd like you to try and include all 3 characters so that you've got Ben, Sorrel and Firedrake on there. And if you want to add a sneaky little Twigleg in there, by all means, you can add yourself a sneaky little Twigleg hiding in someone's backpack. But have a go at redesigning the front cover. Okay, it's not a case of you need to do lots of writing. It's just an opportunity for you to do something to chill out on, because you have some slightly bigger chunks of writing to be able to do today. Just because obviously it's World Book Day and I'm testing you on some of your knowledge. So take this one easy, okay? And I really look forward to seeing some pictures of a different variation of our front covers. Again, I might showcase them on some of our PowerPoints rather than this front cover. I might showcase your front covers as we work through this book for the rest of the time. All right? Good luck, year 5.